Let's see a few more things here. I'm going to think about these buds a little bit. And mostly I'm going to get what I really want to sort of make sure I'm thinking about for anything that's cylindrical is the primary three-dimensional form, which I just mentioned is cylindrical, as well as the individual. Each little shape here has its own sort of hill that will change the value and color a little bit. So right now, I just want to get a little clean quin pink. I'm not sure I can do that, but and I'm going to do a graded wash sort of inversely. I'm just going to put a little bit of quin pink over here, and then I'm going to wash out my brush and sort of bring water into it from this way. You'll see what I'm talking about. And this is to make sure that the overall object reads. I'm shaking out the paint right now. Sometimes I'll start with just sort of water over here, and then as I get closer to where the color is, I will gently coax it around. You can end up with little parts that you didn't quite get wet. So it's good to be more careful than I was right there. But even if that wasn't sort of going well, I could just bring in more water like this, like I was doing on the graded blob. And get sort of that darker color to go a little bit further, and blend some of the others back if I want to. I'm also going to just put a little hint of some pink on the other side as well. I'm starting to activate a little bit of green there, so I'm going to not continue doing that, because it is definitely going to gray everything out. So that is just sort of, yeah, strengthening. That was a little watery, a little more watery quin pink, and just kind of bringing this more to a darker, cool red that it is. This might be a bit much, but we'll see. So right now, the whole shape is pretty wet. So I'm kind of it's tricky to know if I'm sort of using my brush like a sponge or just mixing around. I think mostly I'm trying to kind of match the moisture on the paper when I was doing that last thing. Oh. That was a serious spaz. Whew, maybe it's time for a break. But no. Nay, I say. I'm gonna, so that's one way of starting to make this form, make sure it's rounding. Another way, and I'll do it down here, is to, this brush is a little bit small, but to basically kind of wet the whole shape and then approach it from a reductive sort of approach, where I'm going to try to scrub a little bit of the pink that's over here. And force it down to the other side. So I know it's confusing that sometimes I say make sure you don't activate any color, and then sometimes I say now we're going to activate the color. Different objects call for different things, different techniques. So I'm changing the value a little bit just to make sure that at least it's a little bit lighter over on the right side. And I think I'll try doing something similar to that over with some of these shapes. And yeah, and maybe the whole thing. So I'm going to wet the whole thing. That's kind of nice like that, actually. But then I'm bringing in a little bit more water over here and scrubbing away some of that color to get it to go over to the left side, which is the side that is more away from the light and will be darker. Like I said, eventually we'll be doing each little individual slice, you might call it. What do I want with you? This brush is too small for this one, but I'm gonna bring in a little bit of even darker Quin burnt orange and Quin pink mix, just to make that a little more clear, a little more contrast in value and a little bit in color. Eventually probably going to bring in some purple. But so that's setting that one up. Now I'm going to shift over away from the reds, and I'm going to I'm doing some mixing off camera, but it's the cobalt teal and the quinacridone pink, and I'm going to fill in a few of these shadows from the on the petals. And a little more water and a little more green. The shadow that's being cast back onto the inner part of the petal by the outer rounded lip part. Whew, boy, that's a lot of nomenclature I'm not really sure of. But now I will do it on this one as well. This whole shape is going to be similar. So it's kind of tricky to go from real skinny, tight area. Sort of need the small brush for that. And once again, I don't know, I keep saying that, don't I? This is a synthetic brush, so it has a little, doesn't hold quite as much water and paint, but it's a little stiffer, so it, sometimes I like that for the finer detail. None of that wimpy stuff, natural hair stuff. I'm grabbing some pink, a little bit more pink right from there. Ooh, that's nice. It didn't quite blend as much as I was wanting it to, so I'm gonna wake it up and encourage it to blend a little bit more. It's seeming a little on the pink side, but and partly I don't want it to draw too much attention away from the star. Yeah, it literally is kind of a star, but yeah, that'll likely be adjusting there, kind of like I'm doing right now. Trying to just add a little bit of water and move some of that pigment down the line. Might be a little darker than I wanted. Yeah, I'm going to check out the values a little bit more so I can be clear about that shape. I'm not quite happy with this edge. I'm going to get just a touch of paint in there. Try to refine this. Being careful about making sure the paint I'm introducing is similar in ratio of paint to water. Yeah, okay, I think I'm officially fussing now. So that was that and that. And I think that's all for this video. I'm going to get some clean water and really start getting serious about the graded yellows to orange to red for the big exciting part in the focal center, focal point. Cool.